In the vast expanse of Nigeria's northwest, a silent struggle persists. Here, amidst the challenges of peace, security, and civic participation, a community grapples with the complexities of its reality.
Northwest Nigeria over the past decade has become synonymous with insecurity, with a lot of violence. You've got cases of intercommunal violence, intracommunal violence with ethnic and religious violence going on in communities that should otherwise be at peace.
The farmer-herder conflicts, there's always this contestation over the existing resources. They could be scarce resources, it could be encouragement into farmland.
You'll be in your farm, suddenly you hear gunshots. You either be shot or the person you're working with will be shot. People became fearful. Nobody wants to go to the farm again.
Tribalisms, religions, difference, regionalisms, and the political sentiments. Issue of nepotisms among even the political class. They are the factors responsible for creating unrest and dispute and hatred between one another.
All of this political instability and economic headwinds culminated in casualties on all sides. The justice system was burdened, and therefore access for every citizen was limited, expectedly putting even more pressure on the family unit seeking redress. The shrinking coping mechanism on the home front was evident. The men could certainly not do it all alone. And as for the women, while their valuable contributions to homekeeping, caregiving, and subsistence farming was acknowledged and encouraged, their opinions and contributions to public discourse was rarely invited.
This community was attacked on the 14th March last year. So some of the women went to the markets and they heard about it, the rumor that this community, the terrorists are coming to attack this community. When they brought this information, do you know that these women were ignored? They were ignored. Nobody cared as in to take any measure. So later on, around 8:25 rather, PM. That same day, attackers entered and about 9 people lost their lives.
Before, women has no voice. She can't talk anything. Even if the husband insult her, abuse her, whatever, she has no right to report even to traditional rulers. There was sometimes a culture where when women reported husband to traditional ruler, from there he would say, I divorce you.
As a woman, personally, if you ask me, all this while, I felt women were irrelevant. But with the coming of this organization, I felt, oh, so the women too can contribute to the growth of the community. Even economically, women too can contribute. Peacefully, women too can contribute.
This project came on to help to build inclusive, resilient communities, especially to bring on board more women playing roles in the peace-building process, in the conflict resolution process, and also in mitigating conflict, to get more people on board to play roles in terms of identifying signs and indicators for violent conflict or issues that affect them, and getting in touch with the relevant stakeholders to ensure that these issues are resolved in a timely manner.
Recognizing the community resilience needed to be rebuilt, Global Rights established community dialogue committees to meet on a monthly basis or as the situation demands, to discuss important issues of peace building and security as pertains to their communities.
Now, CDC, which means Community Dialogue Committee, was set to help us dialogue. You try to discuss, you try to agree, come together and agree as a way forward.
It's a composition of different professional bodies coming together, carefully selecting based on the track record of performance and also being proving integrity. We select people from Christian, from the resident community chiefs, like Searching Community, Searching Plateau, others, and we can also from people with special need. And we can also see people from the youth environment, women environment, academia, and then we think it's very necessary again to engage people from the government.
Most of the things we discuss is the security challenges in our places. Everybody will bring his own challenge, bring her own challenge. And then we ask, so far with this challenge, what have you done as a CDC member to help the situation? Now, if you have not done anything, now we profile a solution, we tell you what to go and do.
Abubuwan da mun ka taka, role ɗin da mun ka taka suna da yawa don interfaith ɗin da an kai yana cikin role ɗin da mun ka taka wanda an kai achieving a lot. To sai an ka jawo malumma masallatai daban-daban, makarantu daban-daban, an ka jawo pastors, different churches, an ka kira su, an ka kira wasu ƙananan malamai su ko an ka jawo sun ka taho, an ka zo an ka yi wannan training ɗin da an ka yi na kwana 2. Wallahi training ɗin nan ya ba da kala sosai.
Domin abubuwan da ya taimaka min suna da yawa. Da ban san yadda ake nuna mutane yadda za su zauna lafiya ba. Idan na shiga wannan ƙungiya na CDC, yadda ake shiga jama'a a koya musu yadda ake zama lafiya da kuma ƙauyuka da dai kai saɓani da in ya faru kowa unguwa.
We as CDC members call ourselves to book that we should remember we have limits to where we can go. That once you gather any information, you're supposed to take it to the appropriate authority, report it, and then you relax there.
There is a lot of synergy between the civil defense and the local community, civil defense, local communities, and other law enforcement agencies, in the sense that we work in harmony. We provide the needed intelligence whenever it is the need arises, and we also participate in joint operation between especially the military, the Nigerian police, and to some extent the Department of State Services. So this one assist in no small way in tackling these issues. The people have trust on us. Whenever they bring their cases to us, we treat it without fear or favor. So that one helps a lot in promoting the trust or in building the trust between ourselves and the local community.
Abinda CDC role ɗin da sun ka taka harakat security. Akwai nan ga bayan gage ɗin ga muna da transformer ai, wadda ranar nan kawai kwatsam an kaji cewa ga barayi sun zo sun shiga. CDC sun kai alatin cikin early warning group ɗin, an ka tura saƙon cewa ga abin da faruwa, an zo an shiga wannan wurin, an sata kaya, an ka zo an kai ƙoƙari, an kai tracing. Wasu daga cikin barayin an ka samu cewa an kamo su waɗanda sun kai wannan sata.
Community dialogue committees also developed the early warning response coordination mechanism to alert all stakeholders of imminent stresses in order to prepare optimal community-led responses for preempting and preventing conflict.
The early warning, early response dashboard is a security equipment that will extend not just to these communities, but to the entire Northwest.
Having strengthened community resilience through the CDC and EWRC, Global Rights consolidated its efforts by promoting women inclusion through such tools as the Gender Action Learning System, or GALS, which helped in changing attitudes and practices relating to household management and family cohesion.
The GALS training is extremely important because each tool teaches what you need for your basic coexistence. When it comes to peace and security, the GALS training teaches how to come together as a family, be effective, and how to join hands as a community to be effective in ensuring there is peace, there is communication, and using alternative dispute resolution for that. And so it really helps. And then in the civic space, there are lots of organizations that are into responding to sexual and gender-based violence, for example, but do not have a structure for it, do not have an approach that is going to be inclusive. And the GALS training will break that for you.
Lokacin kamin mu yi gas training, lalle ina tabbatar miki cewa muna samun 'yan matsaloli waɗanda akwai wani expensive unnecessary spending da muke yi. Da matata ta kashe kuɗi gaban zawar ta gara ma, ni in je in yi nawa abin da na gara ma, ba mu zauna mu yi shawara mu gani ya kamata mu wa gidanmu ko?
Babu fahimtar juna gaskiya.
But after the training na gas, when we come back from the training, To nan na ta gano cewa to have more than 80 set ko?
Gaskiya.
Lokacin nan na ma ta ce min ita sannan na kice min ke kina ganin ma ina ganin tuwa hanga da ki tara. Raba su biyu zaki ki sai da rabi ki to ki samu sana'a da kin kama don waste money na kawai kin kai.
Ha gaskiya haka nan na. Mun yanzu dai gaskiya muna da fahimtar juna sosai ba kamar da ba. Don da gaskiya kin ga abina na amma bayan mun sai mun yi training mun ka fahimci juna.
Sanadiyar wannan training ta mana. Da ba na barin matata ta je irin wasu abubuwa da ake zuwa na wayar da kai da mi. Amma sanadiyar na samu training yanzu ina tura ta je ta yi training ta samu abubuwa da mi domin soyayya ma ta karu tsakanin mata ta ke gane.
Lokacin ina kasuwanci lokacin ka yamma ta girls training ba ni kasuwanci na dogara da mijina ko kuɗi bai bani na abinci ba zan jira sai da ya samu ya bani yara su yi ta damuwa suna jin yunwa babu abinci tun da ban sana'a to sai mun ka ta yi girls training ɗin ga muka gano zaman banza bayan dole ka dawo ka dogara da kanka ka bar dogara da miji sai ya baka ka tayi ka biɗo to sai mun ka haɗa ni da mijina mun kaɗa kasuwanci.
With the knowledge gained and the skills gained from the girls' methodology, we would tend to see more women involved in advocacy for women's empowerment, for women's protection, for women's participation in the peace and security architecture. So we'll begin to see more women also being involved in the mediation process, and they are going around scaling down this knowledge and skills at the different levels. We have them at the community level, we have them at the local government level.
For example, if you look at the majority of the student union body, they were in place after the girls' training. But I can tell you they are extremely inclusive of women. Majority of the vice are women. Majority of some of the positions that the men would have come out for are now having women in those positions, and they are allowed to be at the forefront of things, like the recent programs on International Women's Day that we did. So it is extremely important, and it goes a long way in creating opportunities. There's a better understanding of how the roles don't have to clash. There is no role conflict. We are not asking for you to move. We are only asking to have the same opportunities. That's just it.
Before, I was the one sweeping, washing plates, doing all the domestic work. But after we went for girls' training, we learned about vision, we learned about so many things, which purpose now we can sit together, we plan together, we save together, we do things together.
Gaskiya mun karu mun fahimtar da mata mun wayar da musu da kansu kamar lokacin da an ka koyar da mu training bayan mun dawo muna wayar da kan mata irin shiga taruka haka idan ni ke ga lokacin ka in ta girls training me gidana baya bari na shiga kowane taro in yi ta damuwa mutane yan uwana suna ta zuwa taro ni ban zuwa to sanadiyar mun zuwa ga girls training din sai ya kaci gaskiya bayan mun dawo wannan training din mafi yawanci mata suna ta ganin abubuwan da muka yi suna ba su shawa har suna ta huwa muna ta koya musu.
Even girls access to go to school, it is more encouraged. Before, so many parenting want the girl child finish secondary school, marriage. Now they are thinking of transition to university, to college of education, health technology. So that means the drastic increase in the promoting of education of the girl child.
After participating in the girls' training, I now come back to my community. Me and my wife, I train a lot of people, and they are now using the knowledge that I teach them.
It's amazing to see the men or the young boys being able to join us for gender-related programs, whereby before you only see ladies showing interest in that aspect of it. And now we have he for she's, that's what we call them. Men that are acting for the women. And so the impact has gone a long way to open their minds to the fact that it's a collaboration, it's a journey that we have to take together.
Well, for some of the communities that, especially like Zango, Zonkwa communities, we've seen like more women are beginning to speak out, and they've even been given leadership positions. There are some communities where women were not even given any leadership positions. We are beginning to see a shift towards, giving women an opportunity to be on the traditional council. So we are beginning to see those type of shifts. and them listening to the voices of women, so women can send their representatives to go and make a presentation to the leaders of the community, and those issues that they table are being listened to and given a positive response.
There was a time we have problem of building a church within the Gaji side. The Muslim, we talked to them, the Sarkin Gaji was able to talk to me. I'm a Christian, he's a Muslim. We went there, we saw the place, which in fact everything went on peacefully, unlike before. If it was not through the global rights, we may not have arrived at that point. So there is much cordial relationship between Christians and Muslims in this district.
The Fulani farmers and herders clash, it has also declined in my community. But before, it had been at increase because the issue that necessitates the fight, it is also there because the negative climatic impact that has necessitated the problem between the Fulani and herders, it's still there. But the knowledge now has created enabling environment for us to recognize that it is not everything, it's not necessary to fight, rather to reconcile. Alternative dispute resolution is proper, and that is why it helps us a lot. We're now reconciling, bringing them on board to discuss what is the problem, we address it, and they love one another and they go peacefully.
Disabled core people with special needs. Global right ta jawo mu ga jiki don shi ni a wakilin su kuma akwai lokacin da duk program din da mun ka tashi ana kiran su zo su ma su bada contribution kuma duk abin da ya tashi cikin early warning group na ma akwai su in daga ciki nan gagalawa ai bandit sun taho lokacin ai wanda ya fara alatin din magana bandit din ai disabled ne kuma da an ka zo an tabbatar da wannan abin haka ne shike.
To babban canjin ma shine yadda aka jawo mai da kasa ya zo ya shiga cikin marasa lafiya ya bada nashi gudunma. Wannan ma is number one change. Number two kuma an daraja mai na kasa. An nuna mai shi ba banza bane.
I believe that the girls' action learning system is something that is sustainable in Kaduna State and even the other focal states because of what I have seen from the beneficiaries. They've been able to step down. Many of them collectively had come together, pulled their resources together to step down that training to others at the community level.
The project has succeeded. Having extracting people from the community, we did not import them from somewhere. They are the members of community. We strengthened their capacity. So strengthening the capacity of community, number one is a sustainability plan. Number two, we started ever since generating resources, local resources. At every monthly meeting, we generate 500 naira note. And at every national meeting we went, we also generate 5,000. And we also involved into advocacy to get partnership, sourcing partnership with other development partners that are working, having the same mandate to work with us in the peace promotion, women engagement, and other community resilient aspect. And then also the partnership that we established from the girls structure, from vigilante structure, from pet leader structure, from robust structure of CDC. So I believe sustainability has already gained ground.
I think that this project is one project, and you can talk to the communities in which we work, that would definitely tell you the hearts and minds have been changed. This has impacted the way people think about inclusion in their communities. And it's not just affecting, the largest scale of communities, all the way down to households are impacted while they need to be inclusive in decision making, in bearing responsibilities within the community.
The results were clear. The changes have been transformational. Women now sit in traditional councils with men, helping to address difficult, thorny issues such as gender-based violence, co-management of the home front, and natural resource management disputes. Faith and religious leaders have attested to strengthened and harmonious interaction between both Muslims and Christians. There is now greater faith in the response of the state security systems such as the police and the NSCDC. The results have been spectacular, as have been expressed by residents. The hope is that these successes can be replicated across all of northern Nigeria and the country as a whole.